Hey guys, today we are going to be installing these beautiful, well, kind of beautiful. Technically they're R32 brakes, they're not Z32 brakes, but they're 30mm aluminum Nissan brake calipers that I'm going to be installing with P2M rotors on the front of Nicole's car. As you can see in here, I don't even know what these brakes are, but they look terrible, they don't stop really well, and they make lots of weird noises, so I figure for safety and aesthetics, this would be a cool upgrade. Thankfully, the previous owner actually painted them gold already, and I just kind of touched up these letters with a little nail polish brush. They were red before, and I made them purple, so they look way better now. While I pull the old assembly off though, I think I'm going to spray these with some clear, just to give them a really nice finish, and so the glossy letters flow better with the flat gold paint.
Are there aluminum there?
What? Oh, they said to put anti-seize in this, but then everyone on YouTube said not to. PBM said to use anti-seize.
No, yeah, you put anti-seize on a little bit on the threads.
Yeah. I should film you saying this, because this was controversial. When I put anti-seize on the lug nuts on Nicole's car, a lot of people were like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. I only did it because it said to do it on the lug nut packaging that PBM sent. Alberto, we want to hear expert opinion.
Yeah, for drifting, especially even OEM ones, you should put anti-seize on the lug nuts. Well, not on the lug nut, on the stud. Why? Because sometimes it rusts in and then it locks in place. See, especially for drifting, you're gonna be removing it all the time, so you don't want to damage the threads. It lubricates the threads and also makes it easier for removing and properly torquing it to spec.
That is true. It does make a mess.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't want to touch the gray part.
Dude, I never knew that there was a spacer on her front wheels. If there's a spacer here, that means she can fit wider wheels in the front. I never paid attention enough to realize that Nicole's car had spacers in the front, which is great because it means I can fit the wheels that we wanted to get for this. So now we can order some new wheels for Nicole.
Look at the spacers we got for the Beamer.
Oh boy, you made Nicole's spacer look like a joke. This is a big boost spacer. Holy crap, I like the matte black.
That's the ones I'm gonna be using with the wide body kit on my car.
It's pretty light.
Yeah, these are forged and...
Just got two bolts in the back of the caliper that hold it to the knuckle. Other than with the help of Alberto grinding down the rear of my CTSV calipers, I pretty much did that swap on my own, so this is actually something I have a little bit of experience with. I feel like brakes are another one of those like easy enough projects where if you don't really know a lot about cars, it's easy enough to do and kind of makes you feel confident about doing other stuff because it's simple and there's not a lot to mess up, but it makes you feel like you're doing something big. Yeah, I guess like picking the right parts is kind of difficult, but 240s have been around for so long that Z32 brake swaps are like child's play, you know? Yeah. Oh, this thing is so gross. Next thing I have to do is detach this line because we have a Z32 conversion line, so. These pins are a little bit rusty, so I'm just going to take a Brillo pad and kind of clean them up a little bit before I lube them, just to make sure they slide real nice. When I was at Injuku, I was able to snag some ISR Z32 conversion lines. Stainless steel lines are always a nice upgrade.
This is so sketchy.
How sketchy is it? I'm gonna lube up these pins just gently. Of course, I'm impatient and I'm gonna try to do this while they're still wet, but AutoZone's not far at all.
Sell those things.
Berto's over here watching Amelia Hartford on his phone.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey,
so, spoiler alert.
It's for informative purpose, educational purposes.
So, unfortunately, I noticed that when I mount the wheel up, the caliper hits the inside of the wheel. I guess that's a problem with Z32 calipers because they're so close to the hub. I guess some company does make a spacer for it that kind of spaces the caliper out so you can run a bigger rotor and not have that issue. But for the meantime, I'm gonna have to run this ugly slip-on spacer in addition to the other slip-on spacer until I can get the proper setup. Other than that ugly spacer, they look great. Berta's gonna give me a hand bleeding them since it's a lot easier when you have two people. I did order a different master to use with the Z32 brakes, but for now, the stock master is actually good as long as you only have Z32 fronts. Might feel a little weird, but. Unfortunately, we ran out of brake fluid, so we're not gonna be able to finish bleeding it until tomorrow. But I'm not gonna be here tomorrow, so it's gonna be a little while, I guess. While I wait to see if some brake fluid turns up from one of my neighbors or something, I'm gonna pull my car in and I'm gonna do a little bit of beautification to it. My engine bay has definitely seen better days. Mainly this valve cover that we did in crinkle red, well, it's gotten pretty weathered. So I think that it's time to put the new valve cover on that we painted over at the Motion Auto TV headquarters. There's actually oil right where that coil pack is on cylinder number 1, so that's not too good. Gotta make sure I don't lose any of these little guys. Poor valve cover, you're getting retired. I only lost one washer. Before I replace the valve cover, it's really important to clean up all the oil around the edge of the head, as well as scraping off this RTV that's in these little half moon places. My least favorite thing about changing valve covers or valve cover gaskets is always dealing with scraping all the old silicone off. I'm such a perfectionist that it just ends up taking forever. Now I've just got to remove and transfer these little gaskets over from this valve cover to the other one. All right, we're using some ultra gray Permatex gasket maker. I remember I used to make a full like kind of stroke through here with the gasket maker, and it makes it a pain to take off because it takes forever to scrape. And Alberto actually told me you only need a little bit right on the edge, just a little bit on top and on the side, because that's kind of the important point, I guess, where it needs to seal, right on that corner. Another part I'm not fond of is actually laying the gasket down and trying to get everything to line up. Press the half moons in first. Try to line it up the best I can and make my next job easier. I hate to put these ugly washers back on, so I'm gonna heat them up real quick and spray them with silver just to lightly coat them until I get new hardware, just to make it look nice. Using heat before and after helps them dry so much faster. The VHT paint dries really fast too, which is nice. I just torqued them all down in a crisscross pattern, going like boom, 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 boom. You guys get the idea. I'm really glad I took the time to paint these washers because the silver looks really nice. I would have liked to paint these nuts too, but I know they'd get destroyed and I'm kind of running out of time because it's getting late. So now I was just putting up the last pieces back together and then we should be done. Use a little bit of thread locker when I put this in just to keep it from popping out. On a new hose that I actually just grabbed. Nothing too crazy, just two simple aesthetic things. Well, I guess brakes aren't just aesthetic. I keep reminding myself that Nicole's brakes are gonna actually perform way better than they would have before. And it makes me really happy because it's like double whammy. Nicole, you stoked on your new brakes?
Yeah.
She's been helping me finish this up because we gotta get to bed, but I'm really, really happy with how this came out. Thank you again, Trevor, for painting it for me. You did a great job. I think there's like 4 coats of clear on this, so it should last and look a lot nicer than this thing did.
It's so beautiful.
Comment below, I kind of want you guys' input. So if you can see, this thing's looking kind of tarnished, it's kind of weathered, you know, it has almost a year of abuse on it. And at some point I want to do a giveaway of that valve cover because I feel like it's cool because that SR valve cover has been with me the whole entire time I've had the car. But the question is, do I repaint it and make it look nice, or do I leave it weathered and battle scarred?
Leave it how it was.
Well, that's for them to decide, Nicole. You already have your own valve cover, okay? You got a purple one.
Yeah, it's in our kitchen.
I kind of want to keep mine.
No. It has history. You should sign it and give it away.
Okay, we'll think about it. Let's see what people think.
We don't need that in our kitchen.
Yeah, pretty soon every time an engine blows up, we're just gonna have another valve cover. We're gonna need to keep building more shelves.
Oh, the trees.
Yep. So I got everything all tidied up. Like I said, the only thing I think I might want to do in the future, add some new hardware. Nicole's brakes are sweet. We don't know how they're gonna feel because we didn't finish bleeding them. I learned Z32 brakes are annoying because they come so close to the inside of the wheel that it makes wheel fitment really difficult. Her car's looking great. The garage is looking like a mess. We gotta go to bed. We are doing a fire sale, 2-day sale on 240 zip ups. So it's this car on the back of a red zip up where it's gonna be really cheap for 2 days only. I can't tell you the price because I need to look up how much they cost me so I don't make them cheaper than that, but that'll be in the description. Thank you guys so much and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. When you say